Hey everybody, I'm Jackson.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is Who It At?
The Masked Singer Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Who It At?
The Masked Singer Podcast.
It's
back.
been a little bit. It's been a little bit.
We did an episode last week, but we didn't have an
episode
of The Masked Singer to go off of last week.
It's been a little bit since we've got fully immersed in the world of season 4 of The Masked Singer.
And it's really been a while since we saw a new group like we did tonight.
It's been such a long time. It was... God,
it was really fun.
I loved seeing a new group, seeing all the new clue packages. Truthfully, I think this group, for me at least, has been the hardest to guess so far of who they are.
I agree.
There are many people who I have no idea who they are, which I think is really interesting.
Obviously one of them has been revealed already, but I have a guess for everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good those guesses are.
I also think
they could be good, they could be bad.
Yeah, sure. I think it also is interesting because... It's harder on this one, I feel like, to guess because there clearly aren't as many, like, professional singers, so people can't rely on hearing the voice and then going clues from there, you know?
I would say I don't know if there are any professional singers in this. Well, no, I'm sorry. I take it back. Sorry, I forgot about Mushroom.
Yeah,
There is one professional singer in this group.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. But we have to go through a few just general notes and also... our favorite segment of the week. By the way, quick housekeeping things. Follow us on social media.
Please.
Who Is That Pod? At Who Is That Pod on Twitter, Instagram. What else? Patreon. Rate and review us on iTunes, please. Patreon, link in bio.
Yeah.
I think that's YouTube. We have a YouTube channel.
Wait, did we get any new reviews? Now that I think about it, we should probably look. We asked you to what you would be for Halloween.
Did we?
If not, yeah, we did. For the scary episode.
I'd buy that. Keep talking, though. Keep talking.
But yeah,
keep talking.
So whether you did leave those reviews or not, Jackson will soon find out. But if not, feel free to do it again. Tell us what you are going to be for Halloween tomorrow, if you're listening to this when it comes out.
Yes.
And we will read them next week and say what you were for Halloween.
Yes, exactly. Well...
well, make sure you click see all, because it doesn't really show all of them.
I guess that is true. So we did not get a new positive review.
Oh no! Do we have haters?
We have a single hater. MJC with the poop emoji is their name.
Nice.
It's not the real deal. I tried this out and this is not the real podcast. First of all.
Yeah, we are not the official Masked Singer endorsed podcast.
We never claim to be
that.
The official Masked Singer podcast.
Even though we said you would like us to... We would like you to make us the official Masked Singer podcast.
Well, of course. But I think if you look up the Masked Singer podcast...
You're going to get the one with Bow Wow.
Exactly. And it's like okay, calm down. Just...
Anyway.
If you're still listening...
We appreciate you.
We do appreciate you, but also we don't appreciate you leaving that review. We've never claimed to be the official Masked Singer podcast. We claim to be a Masked Singer podcast.
We are.
And I think you can tell by our aesthetic and our review... not our review, by our aesthetic and just what we do, that we're not the official. But that's okay.
Whatever.
We've developed some haters, and that's fine.
Leave us some good reviews to balance that one out.
We'd
please. Appreciate it.
That would be very nice. But let's get into the episode.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. So let's first start off with our Nick Cannon outfit rating of the week. Lauren, talk about what Nick was wearing.
Okay, so Nick was wearing, usual tuxedo, but the jacket had this kind of shiny, satiny, paisley-looking design on it. He had an accent pocket square, I guess, like a red thing.
Yeah.
He had a sparkly red cape, red shoes, and red mask. They all matched.
Yes, they
Even
did.
After he took the cape and the mask off, it still looked like he was Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Movie only.
Movie only.
Well, it's silver in the book,
Sure.
and also in Wicked. But anyway,
good call, Lauren. Good call.
Yeah, but I enjoyed this one because I think a lot of times we really lose a lot of the good stuff with the outfit, lose a lot of the color when he takes off the cape. But with this one, especially since he still had that little accent, he had the shoes and that cool design on the jacket. I think this one's a 9 out of 10. I really like this one.
You know, that's funny that you say that because I also rated this a 9 out of 10. I really liked it. I thought it was nice and subtle. I thought it was very cool without being over the top, and I appreciated it a lot, truthfully. I really liked his outfit, and I thought the pops of red worked really well.
I
actually.
agree. I
especially in the pocket square. So, yes, good job, Nick Cannon. You impressed me this week. I think last time I was a bit underwhelmed, so good for you, Nick. Classic you. One thing that I also want to talk about, I didn't write this down, but Lauren was on this episode again. So if you're watching closely,
I think I saw myself. I saw myself at least once, but probably twice. I'm pretty sure I saw myself twice.
I think as they were going into a commercial break, sort of previewing the end, you see Lauren as well. And then,
there's a longer shot of me right there.
Yes, and then there is a shot towards the end. It's when they're revealing
I don't
final
think it's
person,
at
right?
it's like right before the reveal, I believe.
Okay, gotcha. Well, either way, Lauren is around that time, so look out for her.
Same outfit I was wearing every other time because I have only been in the audience once.
Yes, exactly. That's so funny. That's so funny. What do you have any other overarching notes about the show before we get into specific performances?
My only other note is that as much as I love the drop it like it's hot bit, I miss the vault train.
Drop it in the slot instead of
Yeah.
I miss the vault train. The vault train was one of my favorite things. It was great. It was adorable.
I can understand because everyone had to touch the same train. I could understand them being like COVID, but
however, Ken's dance moves
were pretty great.
To drop it in the slot were fantastic. I appreciated Ken going all out once again, showing off the unhinged nature of this show. Yeah. And you gotta love any chance.
In the absence of our dear friend, the Vault Train.
Exactly. We will miss you, Vault Train. Rip to the Vault Train.
Vault Train.
I don't think they're ever going to bring back the Vault Train.
Well, I just think, if it's only with new people, they really only have like 3 chances
to do the Vault Train. Yes.
They only did it once.
What did they do the first? They also did the slot the first time, right? I think
they did the slot thing.
I can't remember. Or did they do the drones?
I thought the drones was to bring out the extra little clue things.
That too.
Did they collect the things on the drones?
I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be incorrect.
Anyway,
either way, it's not the Vault Train, so we hate it. But
okay.
Any other notes?
I don't really have any overall things.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into talking about who these people are.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. Because we have a lot of stuff to talk about with this.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about.
We finished watching the episode like an hour ago and have since just been going back through the clue packages and stuff.
I guess it kind of has been an hour at this point, actually. But, yeah, whatever. But yes, so I made a concerted effort this time to sort of make all these guesses my own. I did not look at any comments section. I did not look at anything else.
Me neither.
Tried to go for just initial instinct and also maybe doing a little research on the clues myself.
Yeah. The only one that he did not come up with is my guess for broccoli.
Yes, true. And I will give Lauren credit where credit is due when that time comes. Okay. But, so if you notice, if our guests are wild, probably off point this episode, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
We're doing this on our own, people. We enjoy it. However, if you have guesses, we post on Instagram a decent amount, roughly like 5 days a week, I would say.
Yeah.
So if you have any guesses at any time, go ahead and drop them in those comments. We'll make sure to. We respond to pretty much all our comments that we get. So if you leave us a comment, we will respond to it.
Absolutely.
That's our promise right now.
Boom.
I'm making a promise. Boom.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Shall we get into it?
Yes. So our first performance of the night was Squiggly Monster, who, if you remember last week, I rated in the my eyes section of the spooky tier list.
Yes. And Squiggly Monster sang Have You Ever Seen the Rain by Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR, if you will. What did you think of Squiggly Monster's performance, Lauren?
I think it was my favorite one of the night.
I was going to say that too. How dare you?
Well,
How dare
you asked me first. Sorry.
Yes. It is...
No, I really enjoyed it. He has a very, rich voice. He doesn't sound very trained. It definitely gave me Thingamajig / Victor Oladipo vibes.
It did. You know who it also reminded me of? It reminded me a little bit of Rhino.
I get that vibe. With a little bit of the country vibes.
Exactly. The not trained, still smooth, still sweet voice.
I also, just for a second, right at the beginning, I did write down T-Pain again. Just for a second.
Just for a second, because I definitely don't think it sounds a lot like T-Pain. But yes, it was a really enjoyable performance. I really can't wait to see more of them. I think one thing that we saw this person is massive.
Yes.
They're
And
just
they seem
a
to have
massive
sense of
human
humor.
being.
They're
Yeah.
like, they were kind of playful with the extra arms and everything.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's seeing it in action and seeing him perform, it very much, now if I see this in a dark room and I'm alone with it, I'll be a little less afraid.
Yeah,
I'll be a little afraid.
I'm not quite as afraid of it now.
Like, why you got all those arms, Squiggly Monster, but...
And all those eyes.
And all those eyes. What you
And
doing
all
with those eyes?
stripes.
What you doing with those eyes, Squiggly Monster? But I'll be a little less afraid and a little more comforted.
Yeah.
A little more cuddly
Yeah.
with Squiggly Monster. So, anything else about the performance, or shall we get into the clues?
Let's get into the clues.
Was this the one with the weird...
This was the video game one. With the cookies.
Okay, no, there's another one.
And the yarn trees.
The chaotic costumes come later. I'll talk about those later.
Oh,
so,
okay.
the clues. I'm going to this is sort of a brief. I couldn't find as good of an article. A little bit of insider tips. I find an article that has the clues written down, so I don't have to do it, and I can just watch them. Sorry, people, if that rips back
We're
the
not
veil.
the real deal, guys.
Yeah, exactly. We're not the official Masked Singer podcast, so... Anywho, so, some of the clues were, choose the Squiggly Monster because people always roll their eyes at me. He made a reference to My Fellow Americans. There was salami. Penguin Ken Jeong was in it. There was video game vibes throughout. Mm-hmm. There was like a pick your player screen in there. There were a lot of chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah,
Lots of chocolate chip cookies.
There was one that was on a padlock.
Yeah. Talks about him being a father figure, a scoundrel, hyperactive voice of the people, worrywart, maniac, no Dumbo with the Dumbo ears as he was flying, easy on the eyes, breaking news, bow tie, and a stethoscope. Do you have any to add there, Lauren? Any visual or vocal clues to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you said the yarn trees and buildings.
I did not say the yarn trees.
That was a thing too. There were trees and stuff made of yarn. There was a Monopoly Man.
The Monopoly Man, which I found really interesting.
And then there was he DJ'd at one point.
He did DJ at one point.
That's about all I got. But yeah.
Yeah.
Monopoly Man.
Yeah. Okay. What are you thinking, Lauren?
Okay, do you want me to go into my guess?
Yeah, I would love you to go into your guess.
My guess, probably a long shot. WWE wrestler Titus O'Neil. Okay.
This is very much of a long shot.
So here's what we got, right? So first of all, I will admit there's not a whole lot in the clue package that connects me with Titus O'Neil. However, Titus O'Neil, I think, definitely sounds like this. He has a little bit of that country, but also that very rich voice. He is so tall. He is 6'6".
He's a large man.
He's a very large man.
So that definitely stacks up.
Yeah. Well, and also, I thought, because so much of this was like video games, cookies, kids themed, he kind of looks like he could maybe be on Demented Sesame Street.
Sure.
Titus does a lot of community service, and specifically, especially before COVID, he went to hospitals to visit children a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was something to do with that. You know, he clearly cares about children and likes children a lot. WWE would also do this kind of outreach thing to sick children where they would basically let them create their own wrestling persona, do a little promo, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was always involved in that, I believe.
Sure.
I feel like the Monopoly Man could maybe be like, his character is kind of like, he's like kind of the corporate man, you know? So he's been both a wrestler and a manager character.
Yeah.
But he has this whole brand like Titus Worldwide or whatever. So that gave me the kind of maybe corporate vibes. Maybe that's what that could be. I also, half of WWE is on Fox now. SmackDown is now on Fox. I believe Titus is on Raw now, which is still on USA.
Correct.
But Fox does has some pull over WWE, so I could see Titus being on here. My only concern is that someone who is not into WWE would not know who this is.
Yeah.
Because Titus is not like, when someone who's not into wrestling thinks of wrestlers, they're like John Cena, The Rock, maybe The Undertaker, Andre the Giant, people like that. Hulk Hogan, you know?
Yeah, Ric Flair.
They're not going to think Titus O'Neil.
There's a very niche audience who knows who that is.
Who would know who that is.
Certainly.
Well, and granted, the WWE audience is a big audience, but it's not like Titus O'Neil is a household name.
I don't know how much of a crossover there is between the WWE audience and the Masked Singer. Besides,
I don't know, pageantry,
you and I
costumes.
Sitting here. No, for sure. Like there's something to be said about it, for sure. So yes, that is my guess. While that is a valiant guess, I have a guess myself that I think, the more I look into it, the more I think there might be something to do with it. So, some of to a little bit of backstory. Some of the panelist guests, Ray Romano, Brad Garrett, two sort of tall comedians, however, both of whom's voices I don't think really match up. And they also guest Al Franken, Dr. Anthony Fauci, two people involved or tangentially involved in politics. I don't think it's Al Franken for sure.
And I Anthony also don't think it's Dr. Fauci's not leaving the house.
He's also a small man.
Yeah.
Squiggly Monster is a huge man. So I was like, okay, this person definitely gives me comedian vibes. You know, people always rolling their eyes at me, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, big old comedians. Who are some big old comedians? I ran across a man by the name of Pete Holmes. You may know Pete Holmes as a comedian, formerly a Christian comedian. I think he's still a Christian. I don't know, but he started off as a Christian comedian, at least. He had a show on HBO called Crashing. That's sort of slightly autobiographical, if you will.
Not the Phoebe Waller-Bridge one.
Correct. So, chocolate chip cookies, you say. What's that about? Well, he had or has this show where it's sort of like a talk show with him. I think it's just an internet thing. He had Dikembe Mutombo, who was a former basketball player, on there one time, and he did an impression of the Cookie Monster. He's definitely a father figure. He has a couple kids, I think. Another thing that I think is really interesting about him is that the My Fellow Americans thing, there's also a politician named Pete Holmes.
Huh.
So it could be that they're doing sort of a fun thing like that. Yeah. I've never even really heard Pete Holmes talk. I don't know much about him. I don't know if he has a relationship with Ken Jeong. I wonder if maybe Ken Jeong was in Crashing or something. That would be interesting.
Because Ken Jeong was one of the characters that came up on the little choose your character video game thing.
Yes.
I don't know if that was mentioned, but
maybe.
But yeah, that's a very good guess. That's probably a better guess than mine.
But it is certainly very far off.
I'm going on instinct alone.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Also, I would like to comment, I wrote a note that while this guessing was happening for Squiggly Monster, they were talking about Squiggly Monster's height compared to Nick, and Ken said, "Look how short you are!"
Oh, that was so great. I wrote that down. That was so funny. I'm trying to see if he was ever a guest. I'm trying to guest stars.
I'm trying to think of what to talk about.
Dr. Oz was on it. Any Wizard of Oz clues or anything in there?
I don't know. Monopoly Man. Nah. Oz was a rich swindler.
It doesn't look like he was, but it doesn't matter. Maybe they had something. They're both comedians. Anyways, and also there were a lot of another reason I think it's a comedian. It's someone who's played a lot of characters, and I feel like that could be an actor or it could be a comedian who does a bunch of bits.
For sure.
So, and I think he does a lot of impressions. So could be interesting.
Definitely.
Also,
fair.
Lauren brought up the abundance of chocolate chips, and she was like, "Is there any one named chip famous?" And I was like, "Well, there's Chipper Jones."
Like that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you sound like that. Chipper Jones, former third baseman for the Atlanta Braves, one of my childhood heroes. I loved Chipper Jones. And
we don't know if any of the other clues line up with that.
Certainly none of the other clues line up. I don't know if he's as good of a singer.
Chocolate chips only.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really matches up. But
maybe he plays video games now.
He has kids.
That's true.
But
so
that's
also, yeah, there's that.
Alrighty. I think that's all I have to say. We said who the judges thought it was.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see more Squiggly Monster.
Yeah, me too.
Period.
Okay, moving on to not Monster. Wow. I just have T-Pain on the brain.
T-Pain on the brain, and that's fine.
Mushroom.
Yes, Mushroom. So, Mushroom sang This Woman's Work by Maxwell. What did you think of Mushroom's performance, Lauren?
So, this was clearly someone who was trying to trick us into thinking that he was a woman.
Yep.
Based on the costume, the movement, the singing, everything.
Yep.
I thought it was good. The falsetto was a little unsteady.
Sure.
We'll get to my guess later, but I think this is someone who definitely does not normally sing like this.
Yeah.
I think this is someone who definitely uses more of their chest voice, like the main part of their voice.
Sure.
Maybe is known for that, and we're afraid that would be too recognizable.
Sure.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. I think I like this performance a little better than you did.
I liked it.
I know you liked it.
It was fine.
I'm not saying that you didn't like it.
I'm just saying if an actual woman came out and did this exact same performance, we would be like, ugh.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But because it's a guy singing in falsetto, whatever.
I think that's sort of, while it is the novelty of it, I think it was still fairly impressive. I don't think it was the absolutely transcendent performance that everyone was talking about.
Yeah.
But I did really like it. I thought it was good.
I'd say second best performance of the night.
I thought they their stage presence was impressive for me.
I agree.
I thought they had a very good stage presence, held the stage well. So it's clearly someone who is used to either being on stage, whether it be as a singer or as an actor, etc.
As a dancer, even.
Yeah, it very, very possibly a dancer, maybe. Yeah, they did have some.
Well, they definitely did some kind of dancery vibes.
Yeah,
well, and it's also
interesting.
too. But it would just be interesting if this was a dancer that they would choose such a restrictive costume.
That is my thing as well.
But maybe they're really just trying to be like vocals alone today.
Maybe, or it could be another situation of the bottom part of the costume comes off.
Maybe,
and then
but then we'd lose the squirrel.
We would lose the squirrel, but we for the clout.
I guess.
For the clout.
Okay, so getting into some clues.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's me.
That is you.
That is my clue.
Well, I did write down a lot of the clues because it was all Hamilton references.
That's what I was going to start off with. Many of these clues have to do with the musical Hamilton. So it talks about being a healer and a scholar. There is a violin. There is a grasshopper playing the violin. Young, scrappy, and fungi. Started out in the rat race in surprising job. Mentioned sort of shows Star Search. There were orange curtains, a hot dog cart. Also on top of the hot dog cart, what to me looked like a Pharrell Williams hat.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that. The world turned upside down. Remind me about Pharrell, because that deals with my person. They got their shot to turn a hobby into a career. There was gardening. Kept persisting until it got to be in the shroom where it happens. Can rise up and help others grow. Broken road to get here. So, some of the guesses by the panelists were Lin-Manuel Miranda, Anthony Ramos, Donald Glover, Usher, and Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any of these people.
I don't think it's any of these people either. And my number one thing, so we are kind of musical theater nerds, and
yes.
I have listened to Hamilton more times than I can possibly count. We were actually very fortunate to be able to see the original cast of Hamilton, so we are very familiar with Hamilton. A, I don't think it's anyone from Hamilton. B, I think that if it was someone from Hamilton, there's no way there would be this many Hamilton clues.
Sure.
You know, it's just so many well-known Hamilton lyrics in one clue package. It was a lot.
I think that is my biggest hesitation with it.
I think that, well, is it okay if I go ahead and go into my guess?
Please.
Okay.
I would be delighted.
So I think it is someone who is very tangentially related to Hamilton.
Sure.
Okay. Someone who was featured in one song on the Hamilton mixtape.
Yep.
Who we know from the band Fun, Nate Roos.
Nate
I
Roos.
cannot speak tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
So Nate Roos. So Nate Roos obviously has a very, very strong, like clear, smooth voice. And he does have a higher voice, but from hearing him sing in Fun, in his solo stuff, in his previous band, The Format, which I was listening to in the last hour, it sounds like he just has a very strong, like, mix. You know, he has a very strong chest voice that he can take into a lighter, brighter place, but that's not necessarily his falsetto. He actually sounds like he uses his falsetto very, very little.
Yeah.
And I think he has a very recognizable voice from the style he usually sings in, which would motivate him to do something different and sing only in his falsetto.
Sure.
He's also a very, very skinny man.
He
would definitely work in this costume.
Yeah.
And it talked about a surprising job, the rat race. He actually took a job working at a law firm to, you know, fund him being able to make music. So, you know, and I mean, the rats that were handing him the briefcase looked very corporate. So I feel like a law firm kind of vibes with that.
Totally.
Yeah, those are my big things. But yeah, he's just, again, has a very small connection to Hamilton, but is definitely more well known for other things, which is why he fits this. Yeah.
So I think that's a fun guess. I like that guess.
Oh, that's a fun guess.
For me, I just don't know if the voice really... Once again, it's in a falsetto. I will be very interested to hear them do a different song, maybe use a different part of their voice, and then I'll definitely have a better idea. But just having listened to Nate Roos, I just... And like, you know, I haven't listened to a large amount of his discography. However, I do know, especially a lot of his big songs, and I just... he'll have to show something to me. He will definitely have to show me something that, despite that, my guess is out there. And it started, I was rewatching the clue package, and it actually started with the composition of one of the shots. And it
That
talks
was the most
about
pretentious thing I have ever heard.
Well, Lauren, it's going to get more pretentious, so buckle in. So, there was one of the shots where it talks about his world being turned upside down. And I was looking at that shot, and I'm like, this looks exactly like a shot from Into the Spider-Verse. The animated film from 2018. Fantastic film. So I was like, The lead in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, who voices Miles Morales, is Shameik Moore. Shameik Moore, now, of course I was like, okay, first, we have that, whatever. That's one small thing. Whatever. So I saw the Pharrell thing, the Pharrell hat, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. I looked up Pharrell Shameik Moore connections. Pharrell was a executive producer on Shameik Moore's big breakout movie, Dope. And that was, I think, when he was talking about him breaking out. He talks about him being underground and then going, starting off underground. He has sort of like I don't know if you would necessarily call it an underground music career, but he sort of started off as, he was in a couple of TV, very small parts in TV shows, but he also kind of started out in music and is kind of still doing music today. It's not perfect. I recognize that it's not perfect. However, I think it would be really interesting. And Shameik Moore also kind of matches some of the vibe of people who they were guessing. Like, especially the Donald Glover, Usher, Frank Ocean types. Their music isn't exactly I would say he's more similar to Donald Glover in his musical style. I haven't heard much at all. Granted, I've only heard a couple songs, and that was just me listening to them now. But I could see it. I think Shameik Moore might be a little bigger than what Mushroom is giving us right now. And it would definitely be a departure of what I've seen of him as like a person, as an actor. But I think he could do it because he's a very good actor.
Yeah.
So my guess for Mushroom, and I'm putting it out there, Shameik Moore.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to move on?
I think we're ready to move on.
Cool. Jellyfish.
So, Jellyfish sang Big Girls Don't Cry by Fergie.
Yes.
What'd you think of this, Lauren?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't think this is someone who's a professional singer.
Yeah.
But they have a good mix.
Yeah.
I'd say.
They really impressed me when they first started.
Yeah.
And then it didn't continue that strength throughout.
Well, just
I
the
would
longer
say.
we listened to it, the more we were like, okay, this maybe
They're
isn't
probably
someone
not
who,
a trained singer.
Yeah, this isn't someone who this is not their craft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Agreed.
But again, they still have a good tone. They have a good mix. I think they have good instincts.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be Missy Elliott, as we know.
It is
my
not.
clues.
Sad.
It's not. It's definitely not Missy Elliott. But I do think it is a different female rapper. And we'll get into that in a second. Lauren, I want you to go first, because mine is also another one that's real out there.
Okay, we haven't got through the clue package yet, though.
Oh, true. Let me go through those clues really quickly.
There was a book that was The Little-ish Jellyfish. Kind of looks like Dr.
Yes.
Seuss or maybe Eric Carle.
Yeah. There was a phone at the beginning, sort of Instaglam, I think it was called.
Yeah, it was someone who clearly has a lot of Instagram clout.
Yeah, reigned supreme over the kingdom, talks about coast to coast. There were fans, there was a throne, a tiara, a gilded cage.
A glowcella.
Yep, bubbles, rules. There were these rules, which had lyrics to a Billie Eilish song, Bad Guy. No rough guys, no just can't get enough guys from the song. Glowgella, yeah, like you said, parties, angelfish, and baby powder. Okay. The guesses included Gabby Douglas, Chloe Grace Moretz, Aquafina, and Sophia Richie.
So I think out of those, the best guess is probably Aquafina. I could see it being Aquafina. I would expect Aquafina to probably rap if she were on the show.
And also...
However, her voice is very recognizable.
Yeah, I think even singing, her voice would just be a little raspier. Personally, but
I don't know. But we did look up Sophia Richie's height, and Sophia Richie is 5'6", and with those platform shoes,
we think this
Jellyfish
person
is very
small.
short.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think it's Sophia Richie.
Yeah.
My guess really has nothing to do with the clues again. Sorry.
Keep going, though. Keep going.
No, but I was just going based on height, and then I heard them guess Gabby Douglas, and I was like, you know who has a lot of time right now because the Olympics got postponed by a year? Simone Biles, and she's also very short. Maybe even too short to be the Jellyfish. I think she's like 4'11" or something.
She is incredibly short, yeah.
Yeah, but I would love to see Simone Biles on the show. And if she can even sing that well, I'd be impressed because she's so talented as a gymnast that I'm like, you don't get 2 skills.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Are you done going through?
Yeah, that's really all I had. There were no other clues.
Okay. Mine is another one that you're gonna have to hang with me here, folks.
It does line up well. I just don't want it to be her.
And I think it is a long shot for reasons I'm going to get into. Now, in the past, this person has been guessed, and when they have been guessed, we were like, come on, would they be on The Masked Singer? I think they would be on The Masked Singer. So
We would do it, but I don't know if we would like it.
I don't know if you're familiar with a person by the name of Danielle Bregoli, Lauren, or familiar with a person named Bad Baby, but you probably are familiar with the person who coined the catchphrase, "Cash me outside, how about that?"
No, cash me outside.
Cash me outside,
How
how
about
about
that?
that? Excuse me. And that is the person who I am talking about, aka Danielle Bregoli, aka Bad Baby.
AKA that girl on Dr. Phil.
Correct, in case you couldn't guess who I was talking about. So there are some clues that match up. The Instagram stuff. She has 17 million followers on Instagram.
Jeez.
She has a big Instagram following. There's a lot of talks about in the ocean, sea, whatever. She is signed with Atlantic Records. Coast to Coast, she did a Coast to Coast tour. Talks about fans, stuff like that. She has fans. Now, here's where it gets a little bit shaky. Well, one thing before, there's the baby powder. So, baby, Bad Baby. Here's where it gets a little rough. So there's obviously the reference to Billie Eilish. It's not Billie Eilish. It's definitely not Billie Eilish.
No.
However, Bad Baby had a little beef with little Billie Eilish there for a little bit. And it was something about Billie Eilish dissed her or something, and then Bad Baby went back at it. It was something foolish, of course, but she had beef with her. There was also the Coachella thing. Bad Baby made news for getting into a fight at Coachella. So
Here's the thing, though. Even though those are negative clues, I could definitely see her being the kind of person who's like, that's publicity.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
good or bad, that's publicity. That's my name getting out there.
No, totally.
Because she's known for being a train wreck. She's not known for being a good person.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
Well, actually, it is interesting.
Bad Baby, come on the show to discuss.
Because actually, this is more of a dispute about her, whether they're friends or not. Because apparently Bad Baby called her out and was like, because she wasn't responding to her texts and stuff like that. The only hesitation is those are two sort of negative relations to Billie, to Bad Baby, the thing about Billie Eilish, etc. But apparently they were friends at least, which kind of adds up. I think it's a long shot. But
No, the longer you talk, the more I'm like, maybe it's Bad Baby.
I think it's Bad Baby. And I think it because she is the kind of person who I think would go on The Masked Singer because for a second chance or for a rebranding.
Yeah.
So I think it's Bad Baby. I really do think it's Bad Baby. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah,
the
I
more
think I
talk
might have to
about
change
it-
my guess to that. I will credit you, obviously.
Okay,
But
thank you.
Yeah, that's better than my guess.
I will be so proud if that is correct. Because it's definitely a long
it took some
shot.
sleuthing.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see.
All right.
We gon' see.
Moving on to someone I did
I
no
got
sleuthing
sloonies.
for because I'm sticking with my original guess.
Which I think is very strong.
Broccoli.
Yes.
Chopping broccoli.
And that is an indication
Chopping
of who
broccoli.
Lauren thinks it is. So, Broccoli sang... I actually don't remember. Let me pull it up. House is Rockin' / Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On by Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jerry Lee Lewis. What did you think of the performance, Lauren?
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was fun.
They kind of gave me banana vibes.
I could see the very
of
similar
someone,
to Banana
maybe
vibes.
throwing their voice a little bit. Someone who does a lot of
Totally.
impressions.
Yeah, yep.
Like the person I think.
Yep.
Anyway.
Correct, sure. Overall, this is the performance that had the unhinged... Yes.
Definitely.
The
there were
chaotic
some kind
costumes.
of crazy costumes.
What was it?
They were
was
like
a
cats.
It was cat heads, but guitar bodies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cat heads, guitar bodies. That
It was
kind of
strange.
crazy.
Costume designer on The Masked Singer, actually, please come on this podcast.
Please.
We would love, because a lot of the performers' costumes, the contestants' costumes, are intricate, they're beautiful, and then you have these crazy...
Well, and I think it's different designers.
Well,
I'm sure they
Probably.
have multiple designers.
Probably, yes. But, anyways,
Any hoot.
so that's what we sort of have. Some of the clues. There's a lot of references to social media, TikTok, a dance challenge. There's a soup can. Dogs dressed like peppers. A contest greased the wheels for his career. There's 3 men, 3 amigos, what it looks like. Yeah. There's a baby, iceberg lettuce, humbled to work with big artists. Kid rolling with the OGs. There's the LD1ESN.
Okay, I realize what that means. It says ladies man.
Ladies man.
I was looking because I wrote that down and I was like, what? L-Diesman?
Yeah.
Like
performing their passion on many stages. There's a car wash and then a swing at the end. Some of the guesses from the panelists were Bill Murray, Howie Mandel, and Steve Guttenberg.
And I would just like to say, Howie Mandel, I'm sure, is not leaving his house right now.
Yeah, Howie Mandel is a decent guess. I could hear the voice, but yeah, Howie Mandel.
Well, he's like well known for being kind of a germaphobe,
very
which
famously
I definitely don't blame
known for
him.
Being a germaphobe.
But it's like, you know, he wasn't shaking people's hands before COVID. He is not leaving the house.
Howie Mandel looking smart right now. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead and get into who you thought this person was.
So right off the bat, I thought Dana Carvey. Because, I mean, even from the get, before we even heard him sing, just because, as I've said before, Dana Carvey's audition song for SNL was Choppin' Broccoli. His original clue in the preview episode had something to do with a sketch he did on SNL.
Yeah.
I believe it was like a repeating character who was on SNL.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in general with this, I think just vocally, this sounds like maybe not Dana Carvey's natural voice, but a voice Dana Carvey could definitely do. And I just think it's Dana Carvey. It's also clear that like this costume does have padding in it, and Dana Carvey is definitely a slimmer guy.
Yeah, for sure. I think the costume very clearly has padding in it.
Yeah, definitely.
I would think.
Well, I mean, Jacob seems surprised, but
yeah, I don't know, but yeah,
no, but yeah, I think it definitely has like padding in it and stuff to conceal that this is probably a slimmer guy.
For sure,
Dana Carvey.
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely agreeing with that. I mean, I just think it seems like all the stuff adds up. Once again, his costume I think is niche enough that it's like the broccoli, like very few people would get that, but I think that's enough of a clue that they would make it his costume. If he had any say in it, I think he would probably want to do that.
Yeah. He's a goofball kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly. There's talks about like, rolling with the OGs. There was the 3 amigos clue. The only other person I think it could maybe be is Martin Short, who's very similar vibe to Dana Carvey, I would say. But yeah, I do like your Dana Carvey guess.
Thank you.
I think that is probably correct. And
he also, this has nothing to do with Dana Carvey specifically, but just a comedian thing. At the beginning of this clue package, he did like a here's broccoli, like a here's Johnny thing, which just seems like something an older comedian would do.
Yeah, true. Dana Carvey was in a Pepper Boy sketch on SNL.
Oh, Pepper? Dogs?
Pepper, I don't know what the
dogs were dressed up as peppers.
Well, yeah, but like, why were they dogs?
Sure. I don't know.
Dana Carvey dogs.
Well, he was in The Secret Life of Pets.
That's a good point.
That's all I'm saying.
Point. That's actually a very good point.
Pepper dogs. He was in The Secret Life of Pets, and there was a pepper thing. Come on.
Lauren,
now, if we can find a soup connection, this will be locked and loaded.
Lauren, that's not bad. Dana Carvey soup. Literally, this is how we do research. Like, this is how we do research.
Just looking up names and keywords, that's all. Or names and names to see if there's a connection.
Oh, interesting. How Dana Carvey's 1996 comedy show failed. One of the sketch focused on a TV screen airing the Soup Nazi episode.
Oh, interesting. Of Seinfeld.
But that's very niche, because I think...
It is very niche, but it was a very prominently displayed soup can, and I feel like the bigger the clue in The Masked Singer, the more niche in that person's career it would be.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I mean, one of the sketches on it sort of focused on that episode, so... I mean, I could see it. Dana Carvey, let's lock it in. Let's lock in Dana Carvey. Good for you, Lauren, for guessing that. I think it's a very strong guess, and
I'm gonna get so many points if it turns out to be Dana Carvey.
Yeah, and that is impressive. Okay, can we move on to Lips?
Yeah.
As you know, Lips was the person who got out this evening. Before we reveal who it is, though I'm sure you know, let's talk about Lips' performance. Lauren, what did you think of Native New Yorker?
She was having so much fun up there.
So much fun. She was.
No, I mean,
Sitting
again,
down.
like just the fact that she used her speaking voice that is incredibly recognizable as a talk show host. Like,
she started
come on,
off
girl.
using her voice.
Yeah.
And even us who...
Instantly. I really don't know anything about Wendy Williams, but even I was like, that's Wendy Williams.
Yeah. The panelists also guest Sandra Bernhard, Wendy Williams, and Allison Janney.
Yeah.
Let's see. My laptop is suddenly going slow.
No.
And it does that a lot, so I'm not super surprised about it.
Well, here's some stuff in the clue package. There were some
Yeah,
cheetah
go
print
for it.
roller skates and also some a kangaroo on roller skates.
Yeah.
It looked like she was in some kind of locker room. There were some loaded cheese fries. Someone wearing a basketball jersey with the number 12 on it.
Yep.
West Wing snack bar. I think, again, going with the roller rink kind of theme.
Yeah.
And it was brought up how West Wing, WW, Wendy Williams.
Also, the jersey, the number 12 jersey, she is from New Jersey, the 12th season that her show is in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then there was also something about shocking the public for decades.
Yeah. So, Wendy Williams. It's Wendy Williams.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, it was also, I also kind of thought, because there have been some rumors about this being Wendy Williams, and then she came out and never stood up, even before the reveal she was sitting. And Wendy Williams does have, like, a condition that, famously at one point on one of her episodes actually caused her to faint.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it makes sense that she was seated the whole time.
No, totally.
But yeah.
Totally. No, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. She was, once again, you say it as a joke, but she really was having fun up there.
No, she really was.
So,
yeah.
like, props to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really curious to see how this costume was going to come off. I didn't know if it was just going to be the whole thing or if it was just the top half like it was.
I think that was one of the more interesting parts of
that was a reveal in of itself.
Watching the costumes. Yeah. I mean, I think, do you think Lips was the right person to get out?
Yeah.
I
certainly agree. Well, just because, like, much love to Wendy Williams, but she was the only one on the show who, like, really couldn't sing.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, she gave her all and she had fun, and I'm sure they could only keep her for a day anyway because she has a show to do.
I mean, she's very busy. She's person.
Very busy.
Yeah. So, Wendy Williams, thank you for coming on The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
We appreciated you on there. Any other thoughts, any overarching thoughts about Group C? I think we're seeing Group C again next week.
We are, for the Group C playoffs next week.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, too, because I looked at the show schedule, and they haven't announced every episode, but we're actually going back to Group A before we do the Group C finals, which tells me that each of these groups, or at least A and C, are probably going to go down to 2 people.
Yeah.
And we'll go to, like, a final 6 instead of a final 9 like we did last season.
So
that's really odd to me, because I feel like
sort of the theme, yeah.
Well, because especially, like, again, much love to Group C, but I'd say our best singers are definitely in Groups A and B.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just going to be tough for all of those other singers in Group A and B because, like Group B, I mean, you have Seahorse and Serpent. And I don't really see anyone else in Group P getting past them if that
Agreed.
group gets narrowed down to 2 people.
And it's hard because you have people like Crocodile, who I really want to see more.
Yeah.
But we probably won't just because of such a strong group. If Crocodile was in this group, he's probably the best singer, if not the second best singer. He's
After
certainly
Mushroom,
vying for the top
potentially,
spot.
yeah.
But yeah, he might not even... top 3 maybe in Group B.
Yeah, so that's a bummer for me. Because at least in previous seasons, or at least last season, we saw the 3 groups, and then they only got them down to 3 people.
Yeah.
And granted, they did eliminate 3 because it was 3 groups of 6.
Yeah.
But it's still, like more. I mean, Rob Gronkowski made it to the final 9. Like,
yeah. So that tells you something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I wouldn't be surprised if no one made it to the top 3 out of this group.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes they like to do it one out of each group, but I just can't see. Mushroom could really shock us. If Mushroom really is Nate Roos, then they could go off and it would be great. But I don't know.
But just seeing, again, Seahorse, Serpent, Sun. I mean,
who would you
I don't
knock
think there's
out?
anyone in this group who could compete with them.
If it's Nate Roos,
maybe
they could. But not saying that I don't appreciate your guess. However, I'm not sure if it is Nate Roos. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
Even if it is Nate Roos, it would be tough to knock one of those 3 out.
No, for sure. But yes, that is our Season 4, this was Season 4, Episode 5 of this. This is our 6th episode so far of this season. So once again, if you like us, leave us a review on iTunes. Send us an email at who is that pod at gmail.com. I was like, what's my name? My name is Jackson.
And also, check out our other show, The Greenlight.
That is true. Please check out our other show, The Greenlight Podcast.
Links below.
Yes, on that podcast, we mostly read unproduced plays and screenplays and then interview the writers. But we also have a segment each week where we talk about something that we have watched in the past week. So that's pretty fun.
And this week for Halloween, we actually did a totally different episode and did one of our green lit episodes that we usually do for Patreon, where we watch an older movie and pair an alcoholic beverage with it.
Correct.
So we did Friday the 13th. And if you're listening to this, that means that episode is out as well.
Yes, true. And it was a really fun episode.
It was.
We get into some fun discourse about Friday the 13th. And it's a lot of fun on that one. So thank you all for listening.
Whew.
We really appreciate you. While we may not be the official Masked Singer podcast, we're
trying our best.
We are trying our best.
We're the little vault train that could.
That's good.
That's the title of the episode, I think.
The little vault train that could.
Even though it's not there.
Yeah. People will click.
Yeah.
Get the clicks, get the views. That's what this is about. But it's not. It's about having fun, talking about the best show on television right now.
Agreed.
The Masked Singer. So I think that's going to be all for us, folks. So we will see you next week to talk once again about Group C, to get some more clues, to get some more performances, to get more of Nick Cannon outfit ratings on...
With that, the Masked Singer podcast.